Don't forget to check out this month's free featured mobile game and join up with me and other viewers who've joined me so far to wage large-scale battles against our enemies and also hunt giant monsters. It's been pretty fun for all of us, plus it's also the sponsored game of the month, so trying it out also helps the channel as well. Plus, it's absolutely free. Check the description section below for the link and also information on how to join our guild, and I'll see you in the game. So it is about time that I started watching Hajime no Ippo, and man, I remember many of you guys are just recommending me this so many times, but in all honesty, this is something that I've wanted to watch for a very long time. I actually remember an A&B that I saw probably like 6-7 years ago. It was a Hajime no Ippo A&B called Monster. Probably really bad quality by today's standards, but I remember back then just being excited by that A&B and thought, this is something that I want to watch. But because I'm that guy that just doesn't care about sports, sports don't do anything for me. Usually I find out, because I don't really watch much TV either, I find out that the Super Bowl has occurred like the day after it's over with. I'm that type of guy. I literally just do not care. But with this, it's something that, you know, it's sports. I always like weigh it against like fantasy or other genres that I know I would enjoy more, so I just never got around to it. And then the other day, I was just like, I sat down with something to eat and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch episode 1. And I didn't even plan to keep watching it. I planned to just have that be a good impression and then get back to it whenever I finish whatever I'm currently watching. But next thing I know, it's a few days later, I'm 20 episodes in, and I am really enjoying this. And as of right now, I probably put this in my top favorite shonen series, and I was waiting until I finish Hunter x Hunter to do that list, because it might be up there somewhere by the time I finish, but like, I'm really glad that I didn't do that list yet, because this would definitely be on it as of right now. Now, it's not really a perfect anime so far, but at the same time, I kind of have to remember that I'm watching a shonen here. Now, some of the issues that I have with it, like say for example, Ippo is this character, like so far as out of episode 20, he is a guy that is, it seems that he has this unnatural talent at everything that he does. Like, he does everything, he hits the ground running and excels at everything he does so far, and I'm sure maybe later on in the series he's gonna lose or something like that, but as of right now, he is just on this streak, and I don't want to know anything about whether he wins or loses. Please do not spoil me on anything. I do not want to be spoiled, because I'm actually really enjoying this so far. So anyways, that's one of the things that I feel about that, but then again, at the same time, because this is a shonen, is kind of supposed to, like, inspire the audience to a degree, and, you know, this is something that they can actually achieve. They can actually go out there and practice boxing, so, you know, I don't really see any big issue with that. Now, some of the other issues that I usually have with shonen series that I don't have with this are that normally in a shonen you'll have, or in many of the shonens that I have this issue with, you'll have a consistency issue where it'll have one really good arc where you have great villains, you have great things happening in the story. Like, say for example, the part with Toguro and Yusuke in Hakusho, and like some of the other anime, they'll have like really good arcs, and they'll hit this like poor stride where they're doing menial tasks, and it almost feels like it's dead weight. Now, I know I use Hakusho as a reference, and I don't have that issue with Hakusho. I don't know why, it was just the first thing that came to my mind, probably because Toguro is a really good villain for a shonen series, but I don't feel like Hajime no Ippo has any of the consistency issues so far. I know I'm only 20 episodes in, things may change, but I started episode 1, thought episode 1 was pretty good, and just kept watching, and I've really been enjoying every single episode so far. And, you know, that's something that I can't say for many shonen series, except for my top, you know, cream of the crop favorites, and I'm hoping that it keeps at this pace. And this is kind of like the point that I was making in my video about bad endings ruining an anime. It's all about, you know, the journey and the characters and whatnot, because this really does a good job with the journey and the characters. I mean, so far, 20 episodes in, the character has already advanced a year. Plus, on top of that, you have so many, like, great characters. Like, for one, Ippo, I'm really enjoying him so far. He's got this, like, go-get-em attitude, and, you know, like, no matter what, he puts his training, like, really in front of everything else. Like, people tell him, like, oh, your opponent's gonna be easy. He doesn't want to hear anything about that. He's got to keep his mind set and focus on just improving himself. And, you know, like I said with the issues about him just being extremely good at everything he does, that's also negated by the fact that we actually see him work and train and kind of fail while he's training at certain things, and we see him actually strive to achieve the perfection that we see in the ring. So it's not really that big of a negative, but then again, at the same time, like when I'm watching this, I can kind of make these comparisons. And I don't know, but I think that they did a great job at showing the fact that he's a very strong character, but he also works to achieve the strength that he has in the ring as well. Now, another positive with Ippo is the fights. They have very realistic fights where they take actual boxing strategies and moves and they'll actually attribute them back to the actual boxers. Like, they talk about Mike Tyson and they talk about some of the moves that he did and plenty of other boxers as well, and they'll actually train the characters and talk about why certain things are important, or if a character does a certain thing in the ring, they'll like explain it and explain why certain things happen. Like when Ippo got hit in the chin, his brain would rattle and his legs wouldn't work, and they explained all about that. So I think that's pretty good, but at the same time, it's not too realistic either. It's still anime-like enough to just be really enjoyable, because there'll be times when you'll have these counter punches that look like they're about to just destroy the opponent's head, like where someone will just clock all the way back and go forward, and the way that they shade it with like the speed lines and everything, it just looks like he's about to knock his head right off of his shoulders, and he'll hit him, and you can see the wind and the sweat just blowing in the wind. And I guess that comes with the art style as well, and I think this is animated very well. I like the fact that they have the thick black outlines around the characters, and that you can actually see things such as blood and sweat and everything flying and the wind from the punches. I think it's pretty good. So another thing that I really enjoyed about Hajime no Ippo so far for the first 20 episodes has been the characters. And I know I'm going all over the place with this video. I just talked about animation. Now I'm talking about some of the other characters, but I mean, there's no formula with this. It's just off the top of my head with this. It's just the first impressions, and man, the characters, like Ippo's opponents in the ring, they go really in depth into their backgrounds, their personal lives. We know about their goals and whatnot, and I really enjoy that. However, with the protagonist, it's not quite the same. We have, of course, Ippo, which I like his character. We have his teacher. He does a pretty good job as well. I'm pretty sure maybe we'll get to see more about him in the past. I'm not sure. We've already seen a little bit so far, so he's a good character so far. And we also have Takimura, which is probably my favorite character of the show so far. He's really funny. He's just this loudmouth guy who you can tell that he's got this struggle going on, but he doesn't really show anybody. Like, there was that one time when Ippo stayed the night over at his house, and he was just trying to fight his hunger because he has this terrible diet that he's like really hurting himself so that he can meet a weight class in order to just improve his boxing overall. I don't know how all this stuff works. He was just starving himself basically and eating certain things, and it was hurting him in the end, but he knew it was for the greater good. And yeah, he's a character. He walks into the shower and just like swings his meat all around, and I didn't expect that. And there was actually a girl in the dojo was talking about that as well. I guess there's a lot of dick jokes in here. They all make fun of Ippo for having a big dick too. Is that like a joke in Japan? Do they like make fun of people for having big dicks over there? Like, what sort of backward society is that? I don't know. You know, it's Japan. It's a different culture. I can't really say anything about that. If that's the case, I don't know. But as far as the other side characters are concerned, like as far as the protagonists go, like they're pretty much one-dimensional comedic relief characters. Like there's the one guy in the gym who has this taste of really ugly women, and they always play on that, which is pretty funny sometimes. So I just gotta say, if you're looking for some exciting and intense fights, turn no further than Hajime no Ippo. And even if you're someone that doesn't really care about sports, like I said earlier, I do not care about sports at all. It does nothing for me. But this, I've really enjoyed it so far. Try checking out the first 4 or 5 episodes, and you'll know how you feel about it by then if you are just skeptical about watching a sports anime, because, you know, I've enjoyed it so far. And I've also really enjoyed making this video so far, pretty much off the cuff, didn't really have to think about a whole lot. It's been fun to make, and if you found it fun to watch, I'm going to continue doing videos like this, of course, alongside the reviews as well. I am going to be making a Guyver video, probably tomorrow or maybe like tonight or something after this, because I watched the OVA and I watched the movie, and I also watched some of the anime series, and I don't feel like making 3 different videos about that, so I'm just going to toss it all into one and talk about it as a whole. And I guess you can see that sometime this week if I have time. Thanks for watching. See you next time.